Very Bad Wizards is a podcast with a philosopher, my dad, and a psychologist, Dave Pizarro, having an informal discussion about issues in science and ethics. Please note that the discussion contains bad words that I'm not allowed to say, and knowing my dad, some very inappropriate jokes.
Just sitting here thinking's pretty rough when you spent most of your life not thinking.
The Galen boss has spoken! Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain!
Who are you? Who are you? A very bad man.
I'm a very good man. Good man. They think deep thoughts, and with no more brains than you have.
Pay no attention to that man!
Anybody can have a brain.
You're a very bad man.
I'm a very good man. Just a very bad wizard.
Welcome to Very Bad Wizards. I'm Tamler Summers from the University of Houston. Dave, for the last 2 years, I've been convinced against all reason that I couldn't get COVID. And I talked a lot of shit, and it became part of how I understood myself, like what I took myself to be. But I got it last week, and now I have to reconstruct a whole new identity for myself. What should it be? What should I be?
Well, it's going to take a lot of soul searching. I know exactly what you're talking about. COVID. I'm a COVID virgin too, and now I feel like you're not part of the club. You know,
I know.
I feel a little bit more distance between us.
I don't blame you. I've let you down. I've let all the people who never got it down. And
did it feel like a weird moral failure? Like I feel like it's just like for no reason, no good reason. It feels like a moral failure.
It felt like a failure of will. You know?
Yeah.
And I had been saying, because, you know, my wife got it, my daughter got it, and I never got it. And, you know, they were in my house, and I just would tell people I'm made of sterner stuff, you know? And it's like, which is clearly not true when it comes to my wife anyway, and also probably my daughter, but whatever. And then I would say, like, you know, that I had too strong a will to get COVID. And, you know, it all just came crashing down on me.
Every once in a while, I find some reason to believe in a God who punishes that sort of hubris.
The next thing that's going to happen is I'm just going to get into a bike accident and with a head injury that, like, the doctor, for whatever reason, is certain that a helmet would have prevented.
You're going to be like a little monkey from Stalker.
Oh man, yes. So today, this is it. You know, this is what I've been wanting for a long time. We're finally going to do an episode on Andrei Tarkovsky's Stalker.
Not even COVID could hold you back.
Not even COVID. Well, it held us back 1 week.
It did hold us back. Yeah.
So I'm very excited, if a bit nervous about that.
You get a particular way, by the way. You do get this like nervousness about talking about your favorite stuff, like we're going to fail at doing it in some way or another.
Do you feel that way? Sometimes.
I don't like anything that much. But I don't think as much as you. I feel like I have faith in our abilities, you know.
I'm confident, but you know, if it doesn't go well,
here's
obviously,
the thing. You have to edit it. And so I feel like you have more of a sensibility to it. And I like kind of trust you to polish our turds.
I will try to make sense of what we end up saying. But first, we have a gem of a psychology paper from, I think I first saw it from Neuroskeptic. Who else?
Who, I don't know what he does to find these things. Does he have like Google alerts for keywords?
Or like a whole team of people. Like that's how I like to imagine it. That he has like this team of people that are scouring to try to find, like preprints, everything, you know?
So the paper is called Small Penises and Fast Cars, Evidence for a Psychological Link. And it is by researchers out of University College London in the Department of Experimental Psychology. And
that is obviously like a real place.
It is. I've been there. It's but it's a doozy. It's a doozy of a paper. It's a preprint, so I don't think it's been accepted for publication anywhere. And I'm going to treat this like like open science, like we're peer reviewing this for them,
Sure.
so that.
But as I said to you off air, this paper should be published. It should be seen, and it shouldn't have to go through the humiliation of a peer review process. Like
Nature, just accept.
Yeah.
I really have questions about how you even start with this, but I'll just describe the gist of it. It's a pretty simple experiment. It's one experiment. And the idea was that they wanted to see if there was a link between men feeling like they had a small dick and them liking sports cars, which is, whatever. It's like the trope. They're basically studying a joke that's been that's been around since like the 60s or something. And the way that they did it was to experimentally manipulate what they told men the average penis size was, with the idea that if I tell you that the average penis size is 8 inches, then on average you probably are smaller than that. So it will make you feel inferior, and you'll like the sports car. So they would present in this study. They presented a whole bunch of facts, of which one of them embedded in that was a fact about penis size. Half the people got like a way bigger than average, and half the people got way smaller than average. They either felt good about their penis size or they felt terrible about their penis size. And then they were told they were going to rate products. And so they rated a whole bunch of products. So the key for their hypothesis, the key was the prediction that if they were told that penises were bigger than they actually are, they would rate the sports cars more favorably. It's exhausting.
So, yeah.
They do a review of the literature, and the literature it's all about sexual selection stuff, like Trivers stuff, basically arguing that men go the route of conspicuous consumption to attract females, especially for short-term mating goals, and
to compensate if they have low self-esteem of some kind.
Yeah. And so I love this. So they do a review, and then this paragraph. How does penis size fit into this theoretical picture? The hypothesis would be that males who feel poorly endowed associate that with being less attractive to females. They would seek to compensate for their disadvantaged primary sexual characteristic with an increased show of secondary sexual characteristics, the conspicuous consumption of a sports car. We tested this hypothesis with an experimental manipulation. First of all, I don't know if they're being cheeky, but a sports car is not a secondary sexual character. I don't know what they're talking about. It's just weird. It's like I said before, it's like a stale joke turned into a hypothesis, like involving evolutionary psychology, which I also, they also had a bunch of other product ratings, including luxury items like Rolex watches and stuff. And they really don't give any reason why this shouldn't work for other luxury goods. Presumably, they talk about the peacock and it's like fancy tail feathers. And it's like, what, in like humans, it's just this specific effect of a sports car, which leads me to my big problem with the paper, which I don't believe the finding, because not only is it only an effect for penis size on sports cars, and they have other low self-esteem manipulations and other luxury goods, they don't get any effect there. But it's also completely split up by age in order to find the effect. Mm-hmm. In a way that's just all right. Like, they were just looking to see how they get. So they split men into like 29 and under and whatever, and older than 29, which is always a red flag. Like, unless that shit is pre-registered, it's just like, why 29? Like, why split in half? Like, they're just sort of fishing for it. So they show that like this only works for older men, but not for younger men. Again, with no good reason.
So you're accusing them of p-hacking.
I am accusing them of p-hacking. But why are they doing it? Like, I just don't understand why do this? Like,
I feel like this is something you do and a lot of psychologists do, is you have a paper here with like so many fundamental problems that suggest that your whole discipline is like unserious. And yet you pick something that's fairly, that's right, that's absolutely right, but doesn't get to the bottom of, how about this? The measure for whether you think you have a big penis or not is that you read this random fact. And then I guess in their mind, you're thinking, wait a minute, like I've measured my penis and my penis is smaller than that or bigger than that. And like that makes you now think for the first time, like I have this sized penis. I might, have been under a misapprehension about my penis size. Like, I don't think that's how it works. Number one, I don't know how you would validate that measure. So
what they at least asked people later on to estimate their own penis size, and they found that people who were told that it was bigger said that they were bigger. So that doesn't get to your.
I like what? I don't think this gets to the issue
but,
here.
But let's be to be fair. Any psychologist would say all of the things that you said. It's just that this is the lowest hanging fruit, because if there is an effect, then you have to try to figure out why it's there. But what we're saying is that this is a simple conversation. There's no effect, so you don't even need to talk about like validity.
No, but you do, because let's say there had been an effect.
That's exactly what we're saying. There isn't.
Right. But I'm saying that this is part of the problem with psychology right now is you come up with these ridiculous measures that in no way are validated. I don't think that's a validation to because they have no independent measure of the person's penis size. Not only that, they have no reason to think that our sense of our penis size fluctuates over the course of our lives from something as small as tiny as this stupid manipulation. I feel like people have a good sense of where they stand penis-wise, and they're not like, reading some piece of data about what the average is would not in any way change how big I thought my penis was.
Well, look, the validation is that they like sports cars more. So there you go. No, look, it's like, sure, I started with the fact that I don't think there's an effect, which to me is just like, it's table stakes. So that for a psychologist, table stakes. It's not that you're like so much more clever than psychologists that we never talk about validation. Of course, if we were reviewing it, we would be like, what evidence do you have that this is validation? You're not like springing this like cleverness on us.
No, I'm not saying I am. But these are University College London psychologists.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, but it's just bad. It's bad in so many ways. It's just that's the easiest way to point, like, objectively, like that there is.
It's like circa 2009, data collection.
Tamler, that's my issue. Have they not like been paying attention to like what's happening to the field?
Right.
Like, this is not pre-registered. There's no real justification. It's just like, okay, here, I'm gonna yes and you a bit more than I was just doing.
Okay.
So here is minimum, you would think exactly what you were saying, which is like, how do you even know that this is working? And you would think that they would maybe, and I'm not saying this would satisfy anybody, but maybe they would have like a self-esteem measure.
Yeah.
To see like, oh, guess what? People who were told that penis sizes were bigger, like actually felt lower self, but they don't have that at all. Like this is just, it's like a lark. And maybe they did ask it. This is the thing that you don't buy. Like that's where I become real suspicious. Maybe they did ask it and they just didn't report it because it didn't work.
Right. Because it wasn't pre-registered, and you don't know any of that.
Right. I'm not accusing them of anything. Daniel Richardson, Joseph Devlin, John Hogan, Chuck Thompson.
But I don't think you have to know anything about data to wonder why they're confident that this manipulation does what they think it does. Especially since, let me ask you this. Do you feel like you have a good sense of how big your penis is relative to the world, relative to,
I mean, I think so, yes. But that's because like I've actually read some literature on average penis size.
And you've measured your own penis?
I don't think I've taken a ruler to it. But like,
that's like
taking
I haven't either.
Yeah, like I can
First
probably
of all,
mark out.
I would need 2 rulers, but
you only have 2-inch rulers.
Here's the other question: like, if it really did work, right?
Yeah.
then I guess they get debriefed afterwards. But isn't it a little cruel? Isn't it a little like, how did this pass an ethics board that you're going to make people, at least for the duration of the experiment, believe all of a sudden, I have a small penis. I thought it was normal sized, but apparently it's really
They're scarred
small.
for life. They're scarred for
well
life.
below average.
No, it's true. If this really worked, then you're harming people, or really helping them. You know,
Yeah,
like
or
half of the
helping
people
them.
are like, "Yeah, baby."
I'm going,
you know,
going down to the why.
This is made for a Very Bad Wizards episode from 2014. You know,
Yeah.
like it's. You know what would really trip me
tear
up
it
though?
apart.
Yeah, is that they reported it in centimeters, and I can't tell. I think that in the like quote unquote like facts that they presented experimentally, I think they also put it in inches experimentally. But I'll tell you this: if you told me in centimeters, I would have no idea.
This meant zero to me. I had to Google like what that was.
I did too. It's so sad. I did too. Yeah. The average. So here are the exact ones. The average erect penis size is 18.04 centimeters,
Which is
parenthetical 7.09 inches, or the average penis size is 12.04 centimeters, parenthetical 4.73 inches.
So is that what happens afterwards? Like they then get debriefed. They're like, "Don't worry."
This was on ProLiving. I don't think anybody got any debriefing.
What if you have such a small penis that even like the smaller size? That's the thing. Is like you don't know what their penis size is going in.
No.
So
you just hope that it's equally distributed across both groups, you know, and that it'll work. But here's the other thing. They don't report. So they report that this worked for older men. And not for younger men. And they show the data and they do Bayesian analyses, which I am not qualified at all to judge.
That's what's so funny. Is when they get really into they run this Bayesian analysis on the data. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? We're not at the point where this is going to be in any, like that degree of precision is going to be in any way informative.
Right. It really is cargo cult science-y.
Yes.
But
this is their description of they say, we quantified the strength of evidence for these experimental effects using Bayesian mixed models. First, we z-scored the ratings for each participant such that their average rating for all products was 0 and the standard deviation for their ratings was 1. This had the effect of removing overall individual response biases and ratings. Then we used a Bayesian mixed model with fixed effects for the penis condition and participant age, random effects for the car model, and random slopes and intercepts. We used R version 3.43, the R Starnum package, and the analysis tool Psycho. Full details of the models are given in supplementary materials. This is mystification. You are mystifying just the ridiculousness of what you're doing with all this terminology and technical jargon. It is classic mystification.
Anyway, I think the real question here is whether or not you should take a ruler to your erect penis. Answer the question that everyone's asking.
Yeah, like I would want to wait until it's like really fully erect.
This
and
is
then
like
I'm pretty
where-
confident that it's not a huge penis. It's not a porn star penis, but I feel like it is a perfectly fine. But you know, I thought I wasn't going to get COVID either, so like, you know,
That's right.
But I feel like it is a well-sized
Mr.
penis.
COVID 3-inch dick over here.
If I was going to change like 100 things about myself, I would leave my penis alone.
Me too. I just say I feel like I'm mature enough to feel that way. I'm not quite mature enough to not laugh at papers like this.
And I hope you never will be, and that I never will be.
But we are mature enough to move on to a great film. Why don't we?
Oh man, yes. It's going to be hard to leave this this paper to talk about. This is a really good juxtaposition in some ways,
Well,
actually. All right, we'll be right back to talk about Stalker. This episode is brought to you by longtime sponsor BetterHelp. You know, how we feel can shape so much about how we view the world. When you're at your best, it seems like you can accomplish anything, but sometimes life gets you bogged down and you start to get overwhelmed. You feel that heaviness, and even the simplest tasks can feel like an impossible burden. Well, working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of you. Because when you feel confident, when you feel empowered, you're way more prepared to take on everything life throws at you, good, bad, tedious, and wonderful. Whether you're dealing with trauma, troubled relationships, professional problems, or just the alienating and isolating aspects of modern life, therapy can have so many benefits. You can learn positive coping skills. You can learn how to set boundaries, how to set goals for yourself, and how to recognize the patterns and habits that may get you into one of those ruts that it's hard to get out of. So if you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. If for whatever reason that therapist isn't the best fit for you, you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So, if you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/VBW to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/VBW. Thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
Welcome back to Very Bad Wizards. This is the time of the show where we like to take a moment and tell you how much we appreciate you, our audience in general, and all of the ways in which you support us and which you reach out to us. It really does keep us going, and thank you. If you would like to engage with us, you can get in touch with us by emailing verybadwizards@gmail.com, or you can tweet to us at Tamler, at Peas, or at verybadwizards. You can join our Reddit community where there's lots of lively discussion going on, reddit.com/r/verybadwizards. Also, you can follow the show on Instagram. We also would appreciate it if you rate us on Apple Podcasts, or if you subscribe to us on Spotify. Pretty much anything you do, we appreciate.
And if you'd like to support us in more tangible ways, in addition to giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, which is very helpful for us, you can go to our support page and see the myriad ways available of supporting us. You can give us a one-time or recurring donation on PayPal. You can buy swag, T-shirts, cups, little baby bibs, I think. Very Bad Wizards, baby bibs. We do want to come up with a new design and maybe get something new going. But so if you have any ideas, please let us know. You can become one of our beloved Patreon supporters, and we appreciate all of our Patreon supporters so much. At $1 and up per episode, you will get ad-free episodes. Every episode will come to you ad-free, and you get 6 volumes of Dave's Beats. For $2 and up per episode, you get access to our entire archive of bonus episodes, including the ongoing series, The Ambulators.
The Ambulators.
Which we absolutely love, and it's one of the things we're most proud of. And we are about to record an episode on the finale of season 1. And
I'm already getting nervous about it ending, like the whole series ending.
The whole series.
Us having to stop doing it.
And then we don't get to talk about it anymore. I know. Well, we still have time, though.
Yeah.
And we don't know. Maybe we'll die before that. At $5
Probably.
At $5 and up per episode, you get to vote on an episode topic. We do that once every 6 months or so. You get access to a whole bunch of Dave's intro to psychology lectures, which he is about to put a couple more up. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
And you get access to our Brothers Karamazov series, another thing we're very proud of. It's a 5-episode series, and that will come straight to you if you join at that tier. And finally, at the $10 and up per episode tier, you get all of what I've just said, plus you get every month to participate in our Ask Us Anything video. You ask us questions, and then every month we record a video of us answering those questions, but also an audio of us answering those questions. And we've been doing that now for over a year, and we've enjoyed it. I think every one of them. That's something we absolutely love doing. The questions have been great and moving at times, like Dave said, and you also get the audio version of that if you're a $2 and up at the $2 and up tier. So thank you so much to everybody for all your support. We're overwhelmed by your generosity. This is what keeps us going, and we can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to the main segment. Stalker from 1979. So this is by the Russian master Tarkovsky, who did 7 movies, including probably his most famous other ones are Solaris and Andrei Rublev, and also Mirror, which just got a Criterion release.
Ooh.
It was a famously troubled production, had to be completely reshot after the film was developed improperly, which is just...
It's insane. It's fucking insane.
It's like, you know how it used to be when you would lose a document that you've been working on and it would just be like a tragedy, but this was like a year's work was just gone, and so they had to reshoot it. I think probably for the better of the movie.
Yeah.
The plot couldn't be much simpler. 3 men travel into a zone that's been cordoned off by the military because of some unspecified event that happened there probably around 20 years ago or something like that. And they are heading ultimately towards a room that, according to legend, grants anyone who enters it their deepest desire, the one that made them suffer the most. Dave, one of my deepest desires for this podcast was to do an episode on Stalker. Like I said, it's a movie I saw for the first time about 2 years ago. I've seen it at least 6 or 7 times since.
Oh, wow.
It's probably the movie that means the most to me, even if I'm not sure why at all. And I think it's a magical movie, and I do feel like it contains the meaning of life somehow. But one of the many questions this movie raises is whether having your deepest desire granted is a good idea. So what do you think? Will this discussion lead me to tragedy and despair or some mysterious form of hope?
I want to put in this plug. Normally I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if you watch something or not. You can enjoy the discussion. I don't want anybody to feel a resistance to watching this movie. The runtime is long, and it's famously has long shots, and it's slow by the standards of filmmaking today, for sure. But enjoy that. Just watch this with patience and enjoy it. It is some of the most beautiful filmmaking I've ever seen. And so set aside some time and just really watch this movie. I don't think anybody who enjoys movies can watch this movie seriously and not be moved in some way or another.
And drawn into
and
it
drawn
without
there's
knowing
something
why.
There's a je ne sais quoi, as the French say, about what is magical about this movie. The beauty of it, I think, is very alluring.
And the rhythm of it is very hypnotic.
It's hypnotic, that's right.
And I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't know what to make of it the first time. What the fuck was that? But I knew, holy shit, there's something going on in this movie, and I was so excited. I watched it again the next day. I was just spellbound by it, and I still am without, again,
Right.
knowing what it's even about, you know?
It's hitting something. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
hitting something like primal isn't the right word, but deep.
Like the art of cinema here is doing stuff that other art forms can't. Part of what that art is that it hits you at a level that is below language or, it's not something that can be fully described. You do have to see it. You have to feel it. Every time I watch it, I always go for a walk afterwards. And it makes me like alert to the world in a way I wasn't before I watched it. Like the textures, like just the aliveness of what I'm seeing, like the sounds, especially the soundscape of this movie is incredible. And like, so then I go for a walk and the world sounds different and looks different. It's breathing and alive in a way that just it wasn't before. And like, that's the thing I'm most grateful that a movie can do. And this movie does it more than any other movie for me.
Yeah. Okay. As we get into it, there are things that I want to say about like what it is that's hitting those like emotional, like you say, like outside of language core emotions. But I don't know how to describe it. Like my high level comment about the visuals of this movie is that it's not like, like Denis Villeneuve like has beautiful movies that look cool. Like this looks cool like that, but it's different. It's like the way he even just films three men's faces looking at the camera is hitting you in a way that's just like, I can't describe why that's emotionally intense. They're just staring at you. Like,
and just a slow pan over a bed and a desk, like at the beginning, or over like a little pond that there are just random old objects. You all of a sudden, you literally feel yourself being pulled towards the screen.
Right.
And unlike, even like a David Lynch film, which can be pretty abstract, there's nothing that makes me want to say, oh my God, I gotta rewind and see what those objects are and how that like plays into, whatever interpretation I'm playing with. It's like, it's not like that.
It's not, right. It's not. Yeah. Although I did rewind to see what the objects were on the nightstand.
I'm sure I probably
there's like a
have to.
syringe in there, which caught my.
There's a lot of stuff in the apartment that echoes in the zone.
In the zone.
Like, yeah, that was one thing I noticed on a rewatch. And then I was alert for this time, almost to the point where you could wonder whether he ever leaves the room. But
he is a little crazy.
Cuckoo. Like the cuckoo clock is a great example. Like, because it's the same sound as the sound you then hear in the zone. The little dust particles that are falling, like the syringe. I'm
curious about. I read a little bit about the location it was filmed. He had scouted a couple of different locations and finally filmed in Estonia in like an abandoned chemical, like a paper factory, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was reading a bit about the experience that they had during filming. Like it looks beautiful, but apparently it was just miserable. Like,
and there were like toxic chemicals coming in, and they think that this probably killed him, his wife, and a lot of the crew.
Yeah, which sucks, but worth it. No. So we agreed that going scene by scene probably isn't the best way to do this, because there's just a lot, even though they're very long shots and fewer shots than in most movies. It's a long movie, and I don't think it does it service to go exactly scene by scene, but we'll try to go in order and talk about like things that stood out. And the first thing I wanted to talk about with you was the use of the sepia tone at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So like Tamler said, this movie is about a place called the Zone that we don't know what happened. There's some speculation about whether it was like aliens or was it a meteorite or a visitor from outer space? Who knows? So they travel into the Zone, but before they do, we're in his apartment with his family. And even before that, we're in a bar opening scene.
But it's the seediest, just dingiest looking bar imaginable.
It is like the ultimate liminal space. It's like it's like a purgatory waiting room.
Exactly.
And
the barman is, like the overseer of that waiting room. Yeah.
There is just from the get-go, there's something mystical about where they are.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he did. Like, it's a very weird sepia tone. Like, it's super saturated. Cool.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. But I think I think it's just trying to say that when he's in the zone, that's like his ultimate, that's his reality. The world is but a pale shadow.
Yes.
For him.
Right. Yeah. And then that also makes it interesting when it becomes sepia toned in the zone, which it does during that incredible like dream scene. And then also when it becomes color in the outside world, which it does when they're walking home. It has a Wizard of Oz element in that way. Like, this is your drab reality. And then there's this other reality that's colored and magical just in virtue of being colored and look.
We didn't say what the stalker was, but like, so the idea is that there's one guy who is, I guess, trained and experienced in getting into this zone that's cordoned off, barbed wire, military. He knows how to get people into the zone, and he knows how to navigate them once they're in the zone. He's like their guide, right? And there's just two people. We never learn their real names. One's a writer and one's a professor of physics.
And they're called just writer and professor.
Professor.
Yeah, they're very archetypical kinds of characters too. We don't know too much about the professor until the end, but he's a real man of science, and the writer is an artist and
like a cynical one. Like it's not just that he was representing like the artist; he was representing cynical human beings. And in some ways, the man of science is less cynical.
A little bit, although in some ways he's more, his rot is deeper, I think, than the writer's. At least
because some guy had sex with his wife 20 years ago.
Exactly. Honestly, like that's at least indicated as one possible reason why he, like what's driving him and motivating him. Because there is a question why they are going into this zone in the first place. It's dangerous. At least the first part of it is dangerous. We don't know, we never get confirmed or not whether the zone itself is dangerous, but getting there certainly is.
Yeah. They have to avoid bullet fire.
Literally. Yeah. And complicated.
Right. The skill of the stalker in getting them into the zone is obvious. Like they get a car and they have to sneak around police guards and they have to they're really risking their life. So it does raise the question, like, if these guys are so cynical,
what do they want?
What do they want? They must believe that there is something in the zone for them. Obviously this is like one of the central questions of the movie. What are they doing in there? There's something in them that is driving them to go in there and risk their life.
I mean, the writer says, I've lost my inspiration. I'm going to beg the zone for it. But he's kind of, as he often is, being also ironic and making fun of himself when he says that, Professor, you really, until the end, he doesn't volunteer any information about what's making him go through all of this. And
so they're paying the stalker to go. Like, this is like the stalker's occupation. And at the beginning, when he's in his apartment, his wife is very upset that he's going in. And I'm not exactly sure why. Do you have any theories about why she's so upset that he's going in?
Well, we get so little backstory, but one piece of information we get is that he had been in prison for a significant period of time, to the point where he had barely met his daughter Monkey, and so I think she's worried that he'll get arrested and returned to prison. That's one kind of surface explanation. But I also think it's very hard on him. He's kind of tormented by the cynicism of the writer and professor, and you see when he comes back, it takes a lot out of him.
Yeah,
I think it's also why the wife loves him. But you could see what is their life normally? This is my question. We don't get any real sense of whether this is a town. Does anybody live here besides the bartender? And how does Monkey and the wife and the stalker, when he's not in the zone, how do they spend their days? We have no real idea.
Yeah, no, it's like this beat down, 1 room or 2 room shack that they live in. And at the end, I guess we see that there's a power plant in the background, but really we have no idea. It's so dreamlike.
Yeah. It's not like they popped into existence, but it is also equally hard to think of what their day-to-day
Right.
is. Monkey can read. I guess she can't walk. There's
She has
certainly
crutches.
rumors. Yeah, she has crutches, and there's rumors that stalkers, their children, become deformed in some way.
Right. It's also weird. Like, I try to get a sense of what is this world like. It's not a named country that they live in, and you don't like. Does this zone that exists like does everybody know about it? Like, why isn't everybody trying to get in? Like, is this just like a secret? Like, how did the professor and the writer find out about it and want to go in it? Like, are there other stalkers who lead people in? Like, I guess
we at least hear of one, but that's it.
Who was, and it seems like he was the guy who trained this stalker.
Yeah, Porcupine,
which is very weird.
Tragic tale of Porcupine.
Yeah,
it's a very strange movie in that it's allegorical, but it's very hard to figure out what it's an allegory for.
That's right. The answer, it has to be like many things.
Yeah.
And I wonder the mind of the artist of Tarkovsky, like this was based on a book, but he departs from the book a lot. Like, I wonder about, I feel like we've had a discussion like this before where you're like, if he made it just like a simple allegory, like the Christ figure, sacrificing himself for a humanity that didn't appreciate him. If it's too on the nose, it's not interesting. But there is the worry that like you can make it so complex or about have so many different angles to it that any interpretation would work.
Yes. I don't know. Like, another example might be like 2001. Yeah. But even more than that, it's hard to even come up with some kind of coherent story that you want to tell. Like, I have a lot of thoughts that I'm sure we'll get into, and we'll get into yours too. But I don't have any confidence that I understand the metaphorical aspect of the movie, or even that there are metaphors for anything. I don't feel like I fully understand the reality of the movie, right. But I'm not tempted to say, well, this part is a dream, or, like, I'm not tempted in that kind of direction either. But yet it gives us enough that we can't just say any old thing.
Right. Yeah, right. It's constrained, even more constrained, I think, than 2001 in that it gives us a more linear story than 2001, which could be like a Rorschach, ink blot for anybody. So I want to dive into just this question that I really want to know your answer to.
Okay.
Which is, do you believe that the zone, in fact, has anything special about it? Because it's like you said, it's ambiguous. Like
it's completely ambiguous. Even the end shot of Monkey supposedly moving the glasses, I think you don't have to view supernaturally. The same thing with once you're in the zone. There are some strange things that happen. Yeah. Like, as I take it, the only things that would suggest that there might be something supernatural going on in the zone is the voice. When the writer goes to tries to go to the room without going, the circuitous way, that nobody will at least confess to having said. Right. It just tells them to stop and turn back. There's the dropping the stone down the well, and then it takes forever.
I counted 12 seconds.
12 seconds. Yeah. I guess there's also the fact that they just inexplicably decide to take a nap in
that's
a damn
so weird.
Swamp.
It's so weird. There's a lot of laying down on the floor in this movie.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. Okay. So Stalker obviously really believes that this place is very dangerous.
Charged.
And clearly there are rules to this shit. And if you don't follow them, you are in danger of dying. And we don't have any reason to think that people it sounds like people have died in their journeys into the zone.
And we see skeletons.
And we see skeletons,
we say, apparently they sent a bunch of troops in at first, and none of them came back, and then they just decided to cordon it off.
Right. So he has this technique of guiding you through the zone, which involves
what he calls a complex system of traps.
Right. That are just there. And it changes. He believes that whoever is there actually has an influence on the zone itself. So like the traps aren't always in the same location or the same kind of traps. So he's constantly being vigilant and he's chastising the writer often for like veering off track, and the writer clearly doesn't seem to take it that seriously.
I mean, one of the comic elements of the movie is that this room that will supposedly grant your deepest wish is right in front of them at the start. Like,
Right.
and you can actually see into where they're going to end up right there. And the writer is just like, this is stupid. It's right there. I can just walk there. And then the writer starts doing it, and you just see in his face, holy shit, like maybe this isn't such a good idea.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. So he's throwing, like, his method is like he has these like bolts, these nuts where he ties like white strips of cloth, and he throws them ahead, I guess, to see whether or not there's a trap of some sort, or whether like the laws of nature go wonky and like in that particular spot. And so he follows whatever path seems safe. Yeah.
Even though, like, you know, it's pretty easy to throw this thing in the direction that you want to go to. So, like,
I know.
It's not like some randomly zone determined thing where it goes.
So the stalker throughout takes this so super seriously, to the point of like hysterics. His voice when he thinks the writer is going astray, like his voice has this desperation to it. His facial expressions have this pain to them.
Yeah. Because you're not taking it seriously. That's like his greatest fear is that you're not taking the zone seriously.
Right.
I don't know. I think my interpretation has always more gravitated towards the side that there's nothing supernatural about it. And what gives it that energy is the fact that it's cordoned off and abandoned. And like anytime you have nature and old buildings and, you know, water coming into places where they shouldn't be, that's going to be kind of spooky. So that's number one, the fact that it's been abandoned, but then B, the fact that nobody really knows what the fuck is going on in it.
Right.
That's what gives it its charge and energy and possibility, is not that it is really supernatural, but we can project our spiritual hopes onto it, and it can reflect that. That's, I think, where I gravitate towards, but not with any kind of, you know, firmness
Right. So I think I'm with you too. And like the emotions of the journey are what the emotions of the people bring to it. It sounds so cliche to call it a journey of self-discovery, but it's like
it's what it is.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, it's just so allegorical in that sense. Like you're trying to find meaning in life. And this is like the microcosm of the macrocosm that is just life in general.
It's not regular life. That's the thing, you know, it's not, you're not in that rut and routine and your patterns and habits. It's something new that you don't understand and that scares you, but also pulls you into it.
Okay, so here's the scene that I think convinced me that maybe there's nothing really going on, that the stalker has such a strong desire to believe that there is something supernatural, but there's no real evidence of it, is when they're going through that circuitous route, they lose the professor, and they make it out to what the stalker believes to be the other side. And he's so shocked to find the professor there. He's like, how did you beat me? And the professor's just like confused. He's like, I just came back to grab my backpack that I had left here. And so I was like, oh, he really has in his mind created this thing where he's like, he really believes that the zone could fool him into thinking that this place looks exactly like the place they started, but it's not, in fact. But it is, because like,
it is. Yeah. They just went in this way. I mean, it's very hard for us as viewers to get a sense of the geography of what they do in that middle section.
Yeah.
But really, they're not working within a big space. And so there's a lot of just going kind of back and forth. And
it's like the Jews in the 40 years in the wilderness kind of.
How so?
Well, the Jews were wandering in the wilderness to the promised land. The promised land was not far away, but God punished them and made them literally just wander for 40 years. Even though, like, I don't know how long it is, but it's, maybe a couple of months the tops, like walking.
Yeah, it is like that. And you get the sense that it has to be, too. Can't just get there and walk right into the room, whether it's supernaturally charged or not. This is the ultimate, it's about the journey, not the destination movie, because they don't go into the destination. I guess, I don't know. Do you have anything to say about the hysterics of the wife?
Yeah, I did want to
floor?
say something. Like, she's very upset that he's going, that he's taking people into the zone. She writhes on the floor in this very weird performance, and she curses the day that she met him. She reminds me of Job's wife. You know, Job's wife, when he's suffering, she says, "Just curse God and die." Like, and she does seem like she's never quite believed it.
But also, I don't know, that little speech at the end.
At the end, she might be convinced. Yeah.
The way I read her based on that speech at the end is that she may have these little episodes, but ultimately this is why she's with him in the first place. She loves this about him.
Yeah.
Because they're in the dreariest possible environment, and somehow he's able to make life mystical and
interesting.
And interesting, you know, if you thought, which I think you could think, I don't think it, but like that the girl was malevolent, like Sophia from Deadwood, like
the kid
you
from
could think
Twilight
that she made the wife writhe on the floor like that.
Okay,
maybe.
see, this is where we're going to get to like the real. I don't think that she's malevolent, but I think that she is controlling some shit. Like, which is. Tamler, I wanted to read this movie in a completely cynical way, where it's like, isn't it interesting that this guy has this faith that has based on nothing, but he's like he's really just completely devoted his life to like what is essentially a lie. But I don't think Tarkovsky wants you to leave with that, and the hints about Monkey having some sort of supernatural power, to me, like I don't even think it's ambiguous by the end. And in fact, I think that in the beginning shot, when the glass on the nightstand starts moving, and then the train comes and you think it's because the train is moving it.
Yeah.
I think that might be just like a side effect. The daughter is actually moving it there too. But we should say that's the last shot in the film. We should
we'll definitely get there, because that's that's how he ends it. That's the Starchild, essentially. That's
exactly.
his version of the Starchild. It's completely not open to like. Even if you think she's definitely moving it with her mind, it's like, okay, then still, why end with that? So on the subject, actually, as he leaves the apartment, he goes through this. It's just so gorgeous. It's like you're living in a painting.
Yeah. I kept thinking that YouTube channel that we used to love, Every Frame a Painting. This movie is Every Frame a Painting.
There are times where you feel, and the movie also just brings you in so that you're like a part of it. Like the way it does weird point of view shots from nobody. It's us at that point, you know? And, but anyway, as he's walking across this like smoky, foggy train yard, you overhear the writer kind of pontificating, as he will, to
the woman.
The woman. She's like this kind of dreary places version of a society lady. You know, she's more well dressed than anybody, but you know, she still doesn't seem like she comes out of Paris.
Right.
And what he's doing, the writer, is talking about how this whole world is just, you know, it's like what you want it to be, all purely just science and laws and geometry and ace prime.
There's no mystery, no flying saucers.
Yeah, exactly. That the Middle Ages were more interesting because the world was open to so much enchantment. It's a really interesting scene because I kind of feel like this has got to be more or less what Tarkovsky believes, you know?
Totally,
but he's also making fun of it. It's getting parodied in the way that the writer is pontificating about it. And it's so clear that this is just almost like a rehearsed thing that he says to impress the sophisticated women of whatever country they live in. So I really like that.
Yeah, it's like, I hadn't thought about that. There is another conversation about the purpose of life. The writer says it's about making art. And I also think that Tarkovsky believes that. And I think that him making a film like this is him bringing mystery into the world. Like
it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Not necessarily through supernatural means, although there's
but
definitely
his
some
zone
shots.
is his art. Yeah.
His zone is his art. And I think, but then I also think the writer is in some ways what he worries he is, like,
Totally.
it's a side of him that he thinks might be ridiculous, overwrought, because he's kind of whiny too, and he just never stops talking.
Doesn't fucking
he's
shut
constant,
up. Yeah.
At the beginning, when they're all in the bar, so you meet the professor, and they're all together for the first time. The writer is just still talking, and it's like, if I'm professor, I'm thinking, is this going to be the whole time? Is this going to be the whole time? This guy just will not shut up about triangles and how science is draining the world of all mystery and magic and interest.
When he's trying to like take a random nap on the mossy rocks, like he's like, shut up, let me sleep.
He still can't escape them, Oh God, I can't wait to talk about that. Scene.
Yeah. So the writer is clearly searching for something so deep that he can't let himself take it seriously. Like his defense mechanism is to keep chattering about and like to like always make light of the situation. You only get the occasional glimpse of like how much this must mean. Like I couldn't help but thinking after the whatever 2.5 viewings that this is his last attempt at finding something meaningful in his life. Like, or else he's just going to off himself. Like,
yeah, this is a pivotal point in his life. If the writer can't get something out of this, then it's almost like he's done. And there's a real question as to whether he does get anything out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know at the end what anybody gets out of it. Like, I mean, maybe like as we talk, on one reading, they're just exhausted by the end.
Yeah.
One of the very clear themes that you can't miss is that this notion that the room is going to grant your innermost desire, but you don't know your innermost desire. And it's like a very like kind of Freudian thing to say. Like this is the risk of the room. Like you think you're going to go in there asking for a wish, but it's going to read your innermost desire. And what that is, you might be very disappointed to learn. It's really about this like discovery of the depths of your psyche.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's suggested that that's what kills Porcupine.
Right.
That he found his innermost desire was something base, and he couldn't handle that.
Yeah, where he thought he was going in there to like bring his brother back, but instead he just got a lot of money.
He got a lot of money, and he was like, "Oh my God, that's my innermost desire. I'm just a money grubbing asshole like everybody else." And he's like, "That's it." And that's the worry for writer, maybe, is like, because he's worried that he's a hack. He seems like he's somewhat successful.
Yeah.
But not fulfilled by what he's done. I don't think he seems that proud of what he's written. He certainly doesn't feel like he wants to keep doing it. This moved me the most because I can sometimes feel like this. Like, where am I going right now? Spiritually, and I don't mean spiritually in like a religious sense, and also like professionally, and like, what am I devoting my life to right now? Like, you feel adrift, and you can feel that way even while you're still doing stuff that to the outside world looks like that seems like a
look at Tolstoy.
Successful.
Remember our conversation about Tolstoy, right? Yeah, like you've written like a couple of the greatest novels, but like, and you're just like, what the fuck am I doing?
This is that moment. The zone gives you a chance to really reckon with that, because the habit is to just go on with your normal life, carry on with those society women, and write your bullshit that you don't even believe in anymore. But it's like, and I know this too, this feeling, what if you stop believing in what you're writing, and what you're working on?
Yeah, and he's
at a deep level.
Yeah, and at some point when he's discussing this, he's talking about critics. It's a very like on the nose kind of conversation that any artist would have that's like successful, like about those critics devour me, like
they've turned me into just like their own image.
Yeah, that's what he says. He says like they have shaped him into their own image, which
he wanted to change them.
Yeah, right.
Are we like that?
I like to
we
think
been
that we purposefully fight that by putting out episodes that nobody wants to hear.
Like this one, maybe.
Yeah.
So after the really long, drawn-out intro, and then it becomes like an action movie,
Yeah.
and kind of
A slow one, but yes.
Well, it's kind of slow, but I mean, when they're kind of running from the Jeep,
Oh,
there's long
no,
shots.
totally right. It's a video game.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, it's not like the rest of the movie. I wonder why you even think this is a part of it, like, because this is also where it's clear that they're risking their lives, so maybe it just raises the stakes of going in there.
So I felt like this is Tarkovsky saying, I can do this too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Spielberg, 'cause this is after Jaws, but I also think it does. Yeah, it just shows that this isn't completely in their imagination.
Right.
What's going on? There is a reason why this is being guarded, and even if it's all some big misunderstanding, like going into the zone is a complicated process.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It shows that, like, it raises the stakes. It shows that you have to be committed to do this. Like, even if, like, in the end, there's nothing magical about the zone. And it's fun. And then they have to really break through that final barrier. They're just getting shot at. I mean,
and they're
just
driving on the tracks.
Yeah, it's so cool. There's like those old timey railroad cars, but this one's gas propelled. So they have, like, the professor got a container of gas that he brought with him that the stalker knew they were going to need, and he fills it, and they just get to ride on this thing.
All this is happening in sepia tone, by the way. And then they get on, I don't know, how do you describe this little trolley train thing? It's
it's a train car. It's like it's like in cartoons where the two people are like, they have to push and they have to
like
lift the lever.
Seesaw thing, yeah.
But this one's driven by a gas engine.
And then you just have this scene, which is, I remember that was the first time where I like was watching it, and I was just like, what? And then just like, I knew immediately, like, I have to see that scene again when I rewatched it. Like, it's just so incredible. It's just all you get is the sounds of the train at first, then a little bit of electronic music, like dissonant kind of.
Dude, I love this. So yeah, I was making a note of this. Like, it's the sound of the thing on the railroad tracks, and like the high notes are sounding like they're getting like warped, like warbled a little bit. Mm-hmm. And you're like, wait, is that how train tracks sound? Like, no, I don't think so.
Right.
And then it gets stronger. It's like a spacey kind of like sci-fi.
Choo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the transition into the zone, and you see their faces, get real close-ups of the faces. You don't see the train after the beginning. You just see their faces as they're driving. The writer kind of falls asleep.
Dude, it's so mesmerizing. Like, I don't know what it is about that, but what you just reminded me that you don't see the train, just like you don't see the feet of the stalker when he's carrying his daughter at the end.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. It's like they're floating into it. It's like they're going into a new dimension almost. It lasts a few minutes. I don't know how long it lasts. I didn't time it. But
I don't know. But
it's completely just gripping, and it's like one of my favorite scenes of all time, because I don't know why it's so great. It just fully uses every element available to movies to just make you enraptured.
Yeah, it's clearly like a filmmaker in his prime, and like, I don't know how to say this more sincerely. Like, I'm not that kind of artsy cinema guy.
Yeah,
but like, it's so obvious that this is somebody who, like, a director's role is to direct attention in the right ways to move you emotionally, and he's doing that with literally just shots of heads.
Yeah.
And in one case, like you say, like kind of falling asleep, and some sound effects. And I was reading about this, like somebody was saying that Tarkovsky's somehow films heads better than anybody else, which is just so true in this movie.
So true. Yeah.
Like, they're just random, like, middle-aged Russian men, and it's just so fascinating the way that
their faces are so expressive. The stalker's face is just a torment, a turmoil of emotions and pain. And
Constant suffering.
Constant suffering.
Like religious suffering, soul suffering.
And then sometimes a kind of innocent happiness. Like you love those moments where he's just all of a sudden happy, like when he first gets into the zone.
By the way, he looks like a Russian Woody Harrelson.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, he does. Like, and some of the same ways that Woody Harrelson can convey that kind of boyish yearning for something,
Totally. And so I don't remember if you said it, but it turns into this lush green color now. Now you have
it just suddenly shoot. Like it's not a big deal the way they do it. It's not like the Wizard of Oz where all of a sudden like it just all of a sudden there's a shot of the landscape and it's in color.
This episode of Very Bad Wizards is brought to you once again by GiveWell, one of our favorite sponsors. Now that the holiday season is over, there probably will be a lull in the amount of charitable donations that people give, but I'm here to tell you that shouldn't be the case. You should be thinking about donating to worthy causes no matter what time of the year it is. And when you donate, we want you to be able to feel confident that your donations are really making a big impact. How do you do that? Well, you could do weeks of research to find charities, figure out what they do, how effective they are, and how that charity might use any additional money that comes their way. Or you could visit givewell.org. There you'll find free research and recommendations about the charities that can save or improve the most lives per dollar. GiveWell spends over 40,000 hours each year researching charitable organizations and only directs funding to a few of the highest impact, evidence-backed opportunities they've found. Over 100,000 donors, like you guys, have used GiveWell to donate more than $1 billion. Rigorous evidence suggests that these donations will save over 150,000 lives and improve the lives of millions more. And using GiveWell's research is absolutely free. GiveWell wants as many donors as possible to make informed decisions about high-impact giving. They publish all of their research and recommendations on their site for free, no sign-up required. They allocate your tax-deductible donation to the charity or fund you choose without taking a cut. If you've never donated to GiveWell's recommended charities before, you can have your donation matched up to $100 as long as matching funds last. To claim your match, go to givewell.org, pick podcast, and please enter Very Bad Wizards at checkout so that they know that you heard about GiveWell from us. That's givewell.org, pick podcast, and enter Very Bad Wizards to get your donation matched. Our thanks to GiveWell for sponsoring this episode of Very Bad Wizards.
I don't know. How would you describe the look of the zone?
It's lush in the way that like nature has overtaken man-made. It's ruins with like this just lush green. You can almost feel the humidity.
Yeah, it's dripping.
It's dripping. Yeah.
Sometimes literally, sometimes figuratively. It's very hard to like fully characterize because there's a lot of abandoned stuff in it. It's overgrown. There's nothing like visually spectacular necessarily, but it's filmed so rich.
Beautifully. Yeah,
it's rich.
Even like shitty puddles look beautiful.
Oh God! I guess we're not going to go through all of it, but
no. But let's say though, you said this like he is happy. The stalker is happy when he enters the zone. There. It's like an alcoholic who has that first drink of the day.
Yes,
you're like, now I'm feeling right. Like he's finally feeling right.
The professor and the writer, when they first get there, are already kind of bickering. They're talking about apparently the flowers don't smell.
Yeah, they've lost their scent.
That's brought up. And they're just doing their kind of writer professor things. And the stalker just leaves.
He just walks away.
I got to take a walk. I have to, and he doesn't even complete the sentence. Then when you see him he embraces the zone.
Yeah, he just like does a snow angel in like the bushes.
Yeah, like face down. But yes, it's very cool. Like he's just like, a huge release.
So here's where I just want to say we start getting the soundtrack, we start getting music. And there is one thing that's, I think, very well done in this movie, and that is there's no real reliance on the music to set the emotional tone.
No.
But it's there. I think he thought, from what I read, that it was cheap to try to direct your emotions with just music. Like, that's just too easy.
does like little snippets of classical pieces like Beethoven's Ninth, but then also this kind of more modern electronic dissonant kind of music that will come in. And it'll come in and out. Like sometimes he will just leave a scene to be silent with just a bird or people, the sound of somebody walking on grass. But
the electronic music, like he also tried to get some Eastern sounding music, like so it's like this blend, and it just makes it feels, because of all the associations, it just feels like mystical, like you're now in this mystical area. Like,
here's his quote about that. He says, it must evoke the Far East. It must be charged with a, so to speak, Zen content, whose principle is concentration and not descriptiveness.
Huh.
Yeah. I love the scene where they're walking through the zone and there's this abandoned Jeep with, I guess, skeletons in it.
Yeah, it's hard to see, but I guess their body's given their reaction.
But what's so cool about it is, you see as we're walking, you assume we're the point of view of one of the characters, and then it slowly, you see first the professor, then the writer, then the stalker, and then you realize, oh wait, they're in front of me, and then we watch them walking across this field through that Jeep, and it's like, okay, so now we're here, like we are in the zone at that point. And there's a lot of little moments like that. It doesn't overdo it with this, but there's a lot of little moments where just a way a character is talking to the camera, or the way that it just feels like, oh, I'm along for this ride. Obviously, the most famous one maybe being the end, where even though they don't go into the room, we go into the room.
Right. There is a lot of filming through thresholds, like doors.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
oh God, the bar.
The bar.
The shots outside the bar and the little like power plant
and
out there.
Just even that little moment where the writer wants to go back into the bar and the professor keeps him from going back in because of some superstition. A lot of these like door frames, the Jeep, like I don't know what specifically it's evoking, but it's just like moving to the next stage. The way that Tarkovsky uses the positioning, like his blocking, his positioning of the people in the shot and the positioning of the camera and the movement of the camera is so fucking good. It's just so good. It's a masterclass. Like,
it's breathtaking. Like the slow pans, the long shots. Like the average shot in this movie is over a minute, but it's not like showy long takes. It's not like Children of Men or something like that. It just another way of drawing you into the whole mood and rhythm of the movie.
Yeah, the camera really is a character.
There's on the Criterion disc. There's an interview with the cinematographer. And he said that Tarkovsky,
the third one, like the final one.
Yeah, the final cinematographer. And he says that Tarkovsky would like position the people and their gestures in very precise ways. Like he wouldn't tell them much about their characters, but he would give them very precise instructions on how to stand, and like everything, the composition of every shot in this movie is incredibly well thought out.
I don't do this ever. I took pictures of my screen because it was there were some shots that were so fucking cool with like the three actors looking at you, like sitting in a particular way, standing next to you. Like I literally was taking pictures.
That's awesome. I knew you would love this movie. I was not worried for a second. Like
I was a little worried, but only because of my dickishness of like, well, if Tamler loves it so much, like I don't want to like it.
That's one of my, that's such a sad thing, but apparently I'm annoying enough about things that I initially make people not want to like the things that I like, That's terrible. That's my trial.
But
I need to go to the zone to like reckon with that.
But I will say, you don't generally lead me astray. Except for
exactly. That's what my daughter says. Yeah. She's like,
except for Straw Dogs.
With Stalker, I remember watching it with my film class, philosophy of film class, and I was like the Stalker. I was like, they need to appreciate this. They need to take it seriously. They need to be moved by it. They can't be cynical about this or whatever. But like, you don't need to, because the movie is just doing that already.
That's right.
Like,
to the credit of the movie,
Yeah.
Like within minutes of watching it, I had forgotten how much I didn't want to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like the room is right in front of them. They're doing this weird bolts thing to determine their path.
Yeah.
And I do think already it's raised a question as to whether he's just crazy. And a lot of the time when he throws the nuts, you hear the cuckoo. So it's like,
I didn't notice that.
yeah, there's like a couple times where it's like, this guy he's invented it, or maybe Porcupine invented it.
Yeah.
But it's ludicrous. The writer is right. Like, he could just go walk right into the room.
You're right.
But it's
like he's really committed to this bit. He's like,
he's so committed. Like, he throws a metal rod at the writer when he strays a little bit or tries to pick flowers or something
and
like that.
the desperation in his voice, like
Yeah.
it's so visceral.
When the writer goes to the room, this is one of those cryptic things where there's no obvious explanation for, as he's about to get there, a voice says, like, don't take another step or something. What is it?
Yeah.
Nobody at least admits to saying it. The professor accuses the writer, who definitely looks terrified as he's doing it, of doing it himself to give him an excuse to turn back. What's your read of that?
Dude, I don't know. It's totally
It's not in his imagination because everybody hears it.
Right. Everybody hears it. The professor tells the stalker, "Oh, that was pretty tricky of you." The stalker is like, "It wasn't me." And the professor's like, "Oh, like he did it. He said it himself to get away, like because he chickened out."
Yeah.
Of all the explanations, I don't know. The first time I saw this without having like developed any theory, I thought, well, this is just actually obviously like true. Like it's like an actual voice. Like in the zone really is mystical.
Yeah. You could absolutely think that, you know. For whatever reason, I'm tempted not to, but there's some things that seem very mysterious. It's just there's so few and far between. And every time the stalker is terrified that someone is straying from the plan, they always come out okay. And he's like, and the stalker's like, wow, the zone demands respect, but it's given you a warning. It doesn't usually do that, you know.
It feels so post hoc.
But it's like they have to imbue the zone with magic for it to be magical. They have to project some kind of danger on it in order for it to be dangerous. But it does seem just inappropriate for them to just walk right into the room.
Right.
It's a journey that they have to go on, even if it's all within like 2 acres or whatever.
Right. The geography really does get confusing. Like it's like totally unclear.
And the landscape changes. Like there's like ice, and then there's
what is that? What are those dunes? Those sand dunes at the end.
And the sand dunes. That's another thing. And there's also a disappearing bird.
That was the one piece of evidence that I thought, like, was this can't have been an editing error. Like he wouldn't do that. Like that would be very intentional. But like there is, a bird that flies, and
then another bird that follows right after it that doesn't
disappear. The bird disappears and pops out in the other, like in another part of the frame. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. That same bird?
Yeah. The same bird. It's almost like he went through a portal and came out like at the very left of the screen. Like,
I mean, part of the problem is like we don't know what's in the imagination of like what we're seeing from the imagination of the characters or our imagination. Like
you have to, What about the telephone call too?
I mean, again, like that's really strange that all of a sudden there's a call, and it's actually kind of funny because they're having one of their arguments about art and science, and then all of a sudden the phone rings and goes, "No, this isn't the clinic," and he hangs up, and then they do a thing where it's like, "Huh?"
Yeah, it's totally sitcom-y. Like,
I read that this was based on like Soviet troops going into some like abandoned. Bombed out city, and then all of a sudden like a phone would ring. Like it could be
there's infrastructure, you never know.
So one thing they say that around this kind of 1/3 of the way in is that the stalker believes the zone lets through people who have lost all hope.
Yeah.
Like the really unhappy ones.
Right.
That's who
it's not the good people. It's not the bad people. It's just the people who've lost hope.
Yeah. It does seem like both the professor and the writer have lost hope.
Yeah. I mean, the professor is not only destructive, he's suicidal, right?
Yeah. After he says that, like the cuckoo, you hear the cuckoo when he throws the nut. Like it's always kind of undercutting its deepest messages, I think, sometimes, which is one thing I kind of love about the movie. And then there's just part 2, like for no discernible reason, I guess. Although it's just like
intermission.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like even in 2001 also just has this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like this one, it seems even more like it's not a real intermission. But yet it seems like maybe some time has passed.
I was trying to figure out what this is all taking place within one day, but it really feels like they take a nap. Like they're just, like it feels like it must be longer than that. It almost feels like time isn't the same in the zone as it is outside. And you know, the very opening scene, the wife gets mad at the stalker for taking her watch.
Yeah.
And like you get the sense that he needs the watch in order to go into the zone. And it made me think that maybe that's the only way he can keep track of like how much time has actually gone by, because it seems like forever in there.
You know what it totally reminds me of is like an acid trip or a mushroom trip which also is just, you have no real sense of time and also space. Like you feel like you've gone on this big journey, even if maybe you've been on some hillside for the whole time, wandering around different areas of it. The way things are drawn out and the fact that it kind of divides itself into episodes, but without having them be clearly defined why they're different episodes. You know, they're like different stages. It's I wonder to what extent he was influenced by something like that.
It seems like the whole like going from sepia to like color is the richness of being high on something.
Yeah. And even if it's just being alert to
like you were saying, like
life,
like the visuals and the sounds, like
the textures and sounds of life.
Yeah. I was talking to you about this offline. Like the sound in this movie threw me off at first because the voices often seem like they're almost like dubbed in, and you don't get a whole lot of just like the ambient, like just what you might call room tone in a room, like just that sort of like background hum.
Normal sound doesn't get in.
Yeah, right.
The ambient sound is like not part of the zone.
Yeah, and he says that like when he gets in there, like he's like, it's so quiet, it's so still in here, it's so quiet in here. You're in a different sensory world, and like the sound of glass under their feet is just as loud as crunching like grape nuts or something, you know, like in your mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
It's also like sleep inducing.
Right. So this, you know, when you were saying the thing about acid trip or mushrooms, I don't think this is an explanation for it, but you know how the Oracle at Delphi seems to be in part because there was like some fumes that came out of there naturally that made people trip out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like maybe there is something in the zone that's like actually making them trip.
Yeah.
And that would explain voices and like the bird.
I mean, absolutely. It's definitely open to the reality of the film that a lot of the charge stuff and even a lot of their like arguments are zone influenced by just some kind of, it doesn't have to be supernatural, but just the fact, I read that Zizek said just the fact that it's cordoned off gives it like its mystery and magic. Like once you cordon something off and you don't let anybody in, then going in there, already that's what it's going to have, this kind of mystical, magical quality to it. I think
it's like anal. You're not supposed to do it, but it's magical.
Deep. So they go in when part 2 starts. At some point, as they go through this dry tunnel, which is actually just water just pouring down, just I don't know from what. I guess the river or something. It's never totally clear how water plays a role in. It definitely plays a role, and sometimes it's just pouring through, like a waterfall. then when they go through it, they realize the professor is gone. And then, like you said earlier, they find him. And then that just sends the stalker. He's like, I can't, I'm not going to take another step until I try to figure this out.
Right.
And that's when they go to that crazy scene of them, for whatever reason, like taking a nap and kind of tiredly bickering.
As they're falling asleep, it really does seem like they've been drugged, and like because they're like as they're falling asleep, all of them on like mossy rocks and water, they're arguing, and the writer seems to have like that slightly more energy, like when you're at a sleepover in like elementary school, and there's the one kid who won't stop talking.
Exactly. And you're just kind of annoyed, but you don't even have the energy to tell them to shut up, and you actually can get a little bit drawn into what they're saying if they push the right buttons.
Totally.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, the stalker, I guess, falls asleep. He's the most in water, and then a dog appears and kind of goes and lays down by him. And it's actually a very kind of beautiful image. It goes back to sepia toned. And then I think it's Monkey reads a passage from the book of Revelations that kind of plays over the soundtrack, kind of like this is something that he's dreaming. What do you make of this whole scene?
The sepia tones indicate his real mundane life. So like, it's just, you don't know at the first time. I don't think I knew that it's Monkey's voice, his daughter's voice, who's reading this from the book of Revelation. Once you know that, like, it did give me the vibes that there is a weird connection between Monkey and the Zone, and like that she might actually be somehow communicating.
She's plugged into the Zone in the way the wife is not.
Right. There is something, whatever it is that they were saying about stalkers having fucked up kids, it's almost like radiation or something, you really get the sense that, but whatever it is, like the stalker's kid has some of the Zone essence in her. And it's amazing
because we don't get really that much to support that, but I feel that like I believe that as much as I believe anything about this movie.
Almost like she sent the dog to like guide her dad back or something.
Maybe. Something. I like that actually.
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool. Like, because
the dog seems very benevolent. I mean, even though it seems like the dog just lays down beside the stalker when the stalker needs that to happen.
Yeah. I read an essay that somebody was arguing that the dog represents the doubt creeping into the stalker's life. And I don't want to believe that, but it was a kind of an interesting argument that, the writer already had 5 dogs. And the stalker comes back with the dog and maybe with renewed doubt.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll talk about where he is mentally at the end. But I also love that slow pan towards the end of this dreamy sequence where it's all in sepia and the swampy water and the syringes and hubcaps and like coins. There's a picture of Jesus.
Yeah, his little
there's
icon.
a gun.
I wondered when I was watching that how much of that was just like found in that shitty like area already and how much he planted in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Jesus icon has to be planted. Like, what do you make of all this religion? Like the Book of Revelation stuff, talking about the 6th seal. Like, there's so much Christian imagery. I don't know what he's trying to do with that other than
it's just another little. I don't know. Like, if this is another thing that you can grasp onto if you so choose.
And I was surprised. Like, I don't know. I have no idea what the Soviet Union allowed in their movies. But like, obviously they were very strongly atheists and they were funding these movies. And so I was wondering if he's sneaking, I don't know.
It's not sneaking.
No, it's not at all.
Like, there's a picture of Jesus.
It's a crown of thorns and there's reading from the Book of Revelation.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and I don't know, like, I know he had some Christian Orthodox inclinations. I see him a lot like Tolstoy, where It's
Yeah.
more of just a way into some deeper dimension of reality, but it doesn't have to be the same way in, and it's not in any way literally.
The quote from the book of Revelation is, it's like it's the end of the world, and it's like the earthquakes will come, and the moon turns to blood, and the sun is blackened out, and it's very apocalyptic. And I was like, is he just saying this like to say some creepy shit at this point in the movie, or is there some actual deeper meaning to this?
Maybe it's like what you said earlier, that the writer, like, this is the end of the world, for these characters if they can't get something out of the zone. Or maybe it's the end of the world for Stalker if he can't do the thing he believes he was born to do, which is redeem and guide people to understand life at a deeper, less superficial level than they're understanding it.
Yeah, I like that. It's like the urgency.
So Stalker then gets up and kind of he just immediately looks right into the camera. And then he gives this speech kind of uncharacteristic about music.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? So he says, like, you were talking about the meaning of life, the selflessness of art. Take music, for example. It's connected least of all with reality, or if connected, it's without ideas. It's just empty sound with associations. And yet music, by some miracle, penetrates our very soul. What resonates within us in response to this? Like, what is the chord, he says, that is in us that responds to music? He says, you'll respond for no one, it's for no reason, just like that. But he's stating right now his belief that there is meaning and a reason to why we can respond to something as not language-based.
Yeah, it's like very non-cognitive. It's one of the few ways to give people emotions without actually giving them the concepts.
It's non-conceptual.
Yeah. And like, I just took it to be an expression of his mysticism. Like, there is just real deep mysticism in the Stalker, and he sees meaning everywhere. But it was interesting to me because it did come from sort of out of nowhere, like this very interesting take on music.
Yeah. And like kind of cuts through all the bullshit that the professor and the writer are bickering about art versus science.
Yeah.
And it just kind of cuts to the heart of that.
By the way, water is like, for Christians, it's such a symbol of like the baptism, the changing, the transition, the transformation of the soul from like being lost to being saved. Like, it's,
That's interesting. There's also, I think this came a little bit before, but he launches into this as they enter some kind of new part of the journey. He says, may everything come true, may they believe, and may they laugh at their passions. For what they call passion is not really the energy of the soul, but merely friction between the soul and the outside world. But above all, may they believe in themselves and become as helpless as children. For softness is great and strength is worthless. When a man is born, he is soft and pliable. When he dies, he is strong and hard. When a tree grows, it is soft and pliable. But when it's dry and hard, it dies. Hardness and strength are death's companions. Flexibility and softness are the embodiment of life. That which has become hard shall not triumph. I mean, so that's a really interesting, in some sense, thesis statement for the movie. In some sense, this is where the Zen aspect of this idea of softness and this idea that you don't want to define yourself in opposition to the world. You want to be a part of it. That's what the Stalker wants. That's why he's doing snow angels in the grass. That's why the writer and the professor are defining themselves in contrast to the world. And what Stalker wants, although I don't know if he can fully have it, is to go with the flow of the zone. And and that's what he thinks is almost the highest ideal here.
I mean, that's another way in which water is a powerful sort of like, water conforms to the shape of the things around it, but it's this tremendously powerful force, but it's not rigid.
Exactly. And it will adapt itself to its surroundings in a seamless way. And that's what, the water in this movie does, right? It's like, it's hard to tell, like, where does the water,
it's getting in everywhere. You don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
And especially like how beautiful that scene right from in the room. Oh, God. Yeah, we should get
let's keep going. Yeah. This is actually where it starts getting a little more, I don't know, the momentum starts going forward. That's almost like a little drowsy interlude where you're almost drowsy like the movie. And then as they go through the meat grinder.
The fucking meat grinder. Yeah. And this is where the interesting episode where nobody wants to be the first one to go through this long pipe. And the stalker says, okay, we're going to draw straws. And he gets a couple of matches and he says to the writer, if you pull the long straw, you have to go. So he pulls it and it's long. And so he sends him along. Later we find out, I don't know what to make of this. Later we find out that both straws were long.
Well, that's just what the writer says. We don't know that that's
true. I know. He never objects to it. Like he always shifts the conversation in a way that's.
One question I had though is why doesn't Stalker go first?
Stalker acts like shook. He acts like he's really scared. And in fact, like he sends.
But isn't that his job?
I know.
Like if you're the guide, you have to go first.
What's very weird is the bravery that he had entering the zone with all the gunfire, and he really took command.
Yeah.
And then like the fear that he has in the zone. The danger never really appears. They're just walking through a pipe.
No, in the meat grinder, right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it is shot with the greatest suspense.
Yeah.
And I'm on the edge of my seat as I'm watching it for the first time. But it's just walking through a weird old abandoned tunnel that's dripping. And, it's such a cool scene.
Yeah.
Like the way the light and then the water starts pouring through.
And the crunching of the like gravel or glass under their feet.
So the writer is going ahead. It's really interestingly shot. Like this is the most Gollum like that the stalker gets. He's kind of like just his like he's kind of crunched and like sideways with the professor who's just. But yeah, I guess my question is there's two straws, right? Or there's two matches. So it was between him and the professor. The stalker was never going to go first.
He was never.
And there's no explanation for why he doesn't always go first, given that he's done this before. Maybe it's because if the first person dies, they need him to get back. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. But just seeing the way that like he's running behind the writer and like hiding behind the professor, kind of like it's very weird.
That's what it's funny, but it's also beautiful. It's like, so then the writer gets to the threshold of some room and he pulls out a gun.
Yeah.
Which is just, it couldn't seem more worthless to have, like, if you were buying the danger of the zone at this point, like having a gun, like, what are you going to do? Just start firing at the, like...
Right. And the stalker says as much when he pulls these guys. He's like, who are you going to shoot in there?
Yeah. And so, but he's very upset that he has a gun in the first place.
The stalker is so upset about the gun. He again gets that desperation in his voice. And then when the writer goes into the room and the stalker and the professor are following him, and the stalker like sees the gun on the floor and like it's almost like he can barely stand to touch it. He pushes it back into the water and it feels like the gun has disrespected the zone, like disrespecting the Bing. And he is almost like ashamed that he brought a gun in there.
Yeah. And you get the sense that's how a lot of these artifacts maybe got there, like from people who disrespected the zone.
Yeah.
And he's just like, all right, this just joins the rest of these random artifacts that will be here for years and years. So then they go through this room, which is like, it has like, I guess, a ladder or stairs that go down into the deepest water that they will wade through.
It looks like they're in a submarine that's like been leaking.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what. And then you have to, and you just go through it and up.
Yeah.
Again, this was a room that they could have just walked into, but no. now you have to get yourself like neck deep in just probably the most disgusting cancer-giving water, literally.
Dude, it hurt having read that like they all got cancer, and watching the scene, it hurt to watch.
Yeah. And they go through that, and then I guess the writer goes too far ahead because the stalker tells him to.
He has these rules, and it's like, what? Like, what are your rules? Like, no, like, no. And like, does he care?
Does he invent them? Or like,
or did he just like, I feel like Porcupine invented them, and then like he actually like, drank the Kool-Aid about it. But he's also like, it doesn't seem to me that he's afraid because he's protecting the writer. It seems as if like he's afraid in general. Like if the writer breaks a rule, they're all fucked,
Yeah. And again, it's just more disrespect for the zone, which every time the zone gets disrespected, it hurts the stalker. He suffers. Yeah. But somehow the writer gets, and this is into the Dune scene, which is, again, one of the more magical, like, why is there a room full of, I guess, sand dunes?
Yeah, they're sand dunes. Like, how did it get there? I was wondering, like, what Tarkovsky was doing there. Like, what was he thinking? Like, I mean, it's spectacular. It's like one of the coolest visuals from the whole movie.
And the writer just collapses.
And he collapses. I thought he was dead the first time I watched it. I was like, wait, did they just kill the writer?
Then he does get up, and here's where he like gives one of his, I'm a tortured artist kind of speeches. Right. But I also feel like it is probably expressing thoughts that Tarkovsky has too. Like, my work is constantly being warped by the demands of this
you put
world.
Your heart and soul in your work, and they devour you. And if I die in a couple of days, they'll find someone else to devour.
Yeah,
that's where he says they've changed me to fit their own image. And yeah, totally. It's rambly too. Like he goes from point to point, and you get this feeling that it is Tarkovsky's like catharsis about like being like. And
this is like a charged atmosphere right now. Yeah. Like people are just saying things randomly. This is where the bird disappears. This, the dunes are inexplicable, and they are on the threshold of the room as well. But there's another room they go into first. This is where the writer starts getting really mad at Stalker.
Yeah.
And he's still nursing a grudge about the match. Matches. But
I believe that the matches were both, because he says, like, I saw them. They're both long. And the stalker is super evasive. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like he was ingratiating himself to the writer by saying, "Oh, the zone has picked you. Like, you're a better man than I thought. Like, I shouldn't have."
Oh, you think that was more? I took that as sincere, because I always take what he does as sincere.
Yeah, maybe, but like it did seem like he was avoiding the question of the matches. He even tells him, like, let's stop talking about the matches.
This is also where we find out about Porcupine's brother. That apparently he was a poet. Delicate kind of poetic soul that went through the meat grinder and died. And Stalker says, here is something that Porcupine's brother wrote. Now summer is past, it may never have been. It is warm in the sun, but it isn't enough. All that I could attain, like a five-fingered leaf, fell straight in my hands, but it isn't enough. Neither evil nor good has yet vanished in vain. It all burned and was light, but it isn't enough. Life has been a shield and offered protection. I have been very lucky, but it isn't enough. The leaves were not burned, the boughs were not broken. The day shines like glass, but it isn't enough. So what do you make of that poem? It's written by Andrei Tarkovsky's father, actually, who was a poet.
It reminded me of like Ecclesiastes, like when like everything has lost its brilliance. Like it's no longer.
Like so that's one way. It's like everything seems like outwardly it's going well. But it's lost its sheen, it's lost its
luster,
appeal, luster. The other thing I was thinking was that it is an expression of, like, again, this Buddhist concept of dukkha. Like, we are not wired to be satisfied by life. It's not that it used to have this mystery, but it now doesn't. It's more that this is part of our suffering. This is part of our tragedy. We aren't designed to be satisfied by what life is giving us, and yet it's all here. And like the zone is like that. It is here, waiting for you to be gratified by it, find meaning in it, but we can't accept that. We're always looking for more. That's samsara. That's suffering. Yeah,
it's the condition. So is it that like? Yeah.
But I also think like that's what you're saying is right too. Like that's the writer, the writer probably once enjoyed the trappings of being a successful writer and all the women and the off-brand women. The off-brand women, yeah. The B minuses, but whatever. For that place.
He's no looker. Yeah.
The day shines like glass. It's like this world is giving you all you need, but what you need is that softness to be satisfied with it.
Right.
So there's this side plot of the professor. Like once he finds out a phone works, he calls, I guess, some guy at the lab that he used to work with.
Yeah, Laboratory 9, and he says like he found it. So it's like he's talking about that he found the zone in Bunker 4. Like I found it, and the guy on the other line is like, this is going to end your career as a scientist. And I wasn't sure what that meant. Did it mean nobody's going to respect you as a scientist because you believe this malarkey? Or did it mean like you have violated a deep rule of our organization and no one's ever going to like...
I thought it was more the latter. Like, it's not necessarily that he believes in it, because I think that's not clear even when he's giving his speech about why he's going to blow up the room. It's more that...
Yeah, we didn't say that, by the way. He has a bomb.
Yeah, he has a bomb. That's what was in the backpack. And it's a very, it's very sad, in the Stalker. Like, I almost like it's unbearable to see the Stalker, how pained he is at the thought that this might get blown up. But in terms of that conversation, I took it that he's just saying, look, we decided we're a team that it shouldn't be blown up, that we should leave it maybe for further investigation or whatever. And also, you're just doing this because I fucked your wife 20 years ago. Which I totally buy.
Absolutely.
All that Dawkins-y science bullshit. It's like he is getting revenge on the world for somebody fucking his wife.
I was confused by what the professor actually believes, because he really does seem to say, this whole time you're like, oh, this is a man of science, like he doesn't really believe, but he went, right? So, but then you're like, okay, but maybe what explains it is he didn't go because he believed, he went because he's going to blow it up. But when he's saying why he's going to blow it up, he seems to be endorsing that this room might actually satisfy desires. And what will happen when like the worst people in the world find out about this room and they come and their desires come true? Like, we can't let this happen. So I was like, wait.
It could be that they come into the room, think that they have their greatest desire granted, and that's the danger. The fact that people might project their own fantasies onto it, that is too dangerous, whether or not it can actually grant people their innermost desire.
Yeah.
So here's what he says. I assembled it with my friends, my former colleagues. This place evidently won't bring anyone happiness, and if it falls into the wrong hands, back then we had the idea that the zone shouldn't be destroyed, even if it was a miracle. Even if it was part of nature, and that means hope in a certain sense. So they hid this bomb, and I found it. Old building Bunker 4. Obviously, there has to be the principle to never perform irreversible actions. I understand that. I'm not a psychopath, but as long as this canker is open for any asshole, there can be no rest for me. Or maybe it's that innermost that won't let me. That's all he says, I think. Like, I'm looking at the screenplay right now. You don't know from that, I don't think, what he thinks.
Yeah, you're right. When you read it, it's true. I think the writer imputes the belief to him.
Yeah.
And the writer, I love the writer's response. He's like, if you believe that, like, people come in here and they're satisfy their desire for world domination, then you're pretty much an idiot, because nobody's innermost desire is anything as lofty as like world domination. Like, people want base things, like, they want selfish, simple, that's their innermost desire.
And that's the writer's fear, I think, there. Is
right.
That's why he doesn't want to go into the room. Why do you, so what follows is a scene where the stalker tries to wrestle the bomb away from the professor.
Desperation. Just,
and they have a almost somewhat comical fight over it. But then the writer comes in and just starts beating the shit out of Stalker, like punching him, throwing him down into the water.
Very unexpectedly. Like, you don't think of the writer as having more physical prowess as Stalker throughout this movie. And all of a sudden, he's getting pushed around like a little kid. You know, like the writer just literally just shoves him into the water like a couple of times.
3 times, yeah. Punches him, and Stalker doesn't even fight back. He just gets up and immediately goes for the bomb. He doesn't ever even get mad at the writer,
He's like,
and this is the saddest part of the Stalker. Like, he's like, yes, I'm a louse, but I'm like, this is the one thing I can do is help people, lead people to get without hope to a place where they might have hope. You know, this is all I have. And then the writer kind of calms down. You could see that, I don't know if his professor's heart was ever into destroying
the plan.
It's almost like he brought it. That's why he was there. But it doesn't take too much for him to just completely disassemble the bomb.
Totally. Yeah. He takes it apart, his little thermos bomb, and he tosses it. Yeah.
And then Stalker's like, okay, this is it. Like, we're on the threshold. Whoever wants to go first. The Stalker doesn't go in. That's a rule, or he says earlier he's happy the way he is. Yeah. He's happy just being the guide to the room. He doesn't need to go into the room.
Right.
But then none of them go in, and the writer almost falls in and gets scared about that, like almost panicked as he's about to fall into the room, and then Stalker pulls them back. And there's kind of a nice scene with the writer putting his arm around Stalker, who's still very upset. Why do you think they don't go in the room?
I might be imputing my own, like what I would be feeling. The idea that you go into the room and nothing happens would be devastating. And the idea that you go into the room and your basest desires are fulfilled is also scary. Like, it feels like a no win to go into the room. And I feel like sort of like Pandora's box, like that, leaving that last step still there maybe lets them hold on to some hope. There is something special about keeping that last step there.
If it doesn't work out, like you said before, it's the last resort. So, but do you think it's like a failure that they don't go in, or is it wisdom?
I'm processing this as we're talking, because like I never really had an answer to it. But it does feel to me like they went through an emotional journey that will make them like they don't need it. They thought they needed it, but maybe they don't. Like, they actually had some growth throughout that whole journey that led them to conclude that they don't actually need the room in the way that they
awoke
thought.
some dormant spiritual connection
peace
to life.
Yeah, some peace with who they are and what they are. Like, they don't need the magic of the room to make their and maybe it won't make their life better.
Yeah, right. And the professor says, like, I don't understand anything anymore. Why did we come here? And I think, like, that's a good lesson.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And, totally. Absolutely.
And, the fact that the scientist who wants to make everything triangles and geometry is just admitting that he doesn't understand, and that he's at sea as much as everybody else is enough. I guess
because this wasn't a scientific journey, this was an emotional journey, and he was wrong to treat it as, the whole time the writer is mocking him for like bringing his scientific instruments. What are you going to do? Measure bring out your microscopes and your lasers or something, you know?
Right. In the way that I would, you know,
Yeah.
in that kind of annoying.
And when I was watching it, I was like, I know why Tamler likes this.
Yeah. But then I don't know, like when I watched it, and it could have been because I was a little sick still when I was watching it this time around, because I don't remember feeling this before. I got a real sense of despair at the end. It's like, what if you realize you're not up to this? You talked big about going into this new place of, you know, where anything can happen and it's new possibilities and you can transform your life and make it meaningful now. And then you realized, I'm just going to stay with my old pattern of habits and you know, at least they maybe recognize that, but it's not some sort of triumph. It is out of fear and out of, you know, they're not built to fully handle it.
I think I felt that too, to be honest. And I think that there are two different ways to take that ending. In the shot where they're looking into the room and they're just sitting there and it starts raining, that's a shot of despair. I think they feel like they've disappointed themselves, like that they're disappointed in their inability, their cowardice in not going into the room. But then when they're back in like sepia life, I feel like they're better for having done it.
I agree. I will say that this time watching it, you know, so that last shot of them in the zone, because it's completely inexplicable
gorgeous.
how it's so beautiful, and because and it just slowly pans out, and then all of a sudden you're in the room, and I honestly felt like, wait a minute, I didn't agree to go into the room. You know,
right?
And you are looking at them through the doorway. You are looking at them through the doorway of the room, and now, like, wait, like,
you're right. I felt violated too. Like, you're right, because like he's treating the whole thing so like mysteriously. Like at first, you don't even see the room. All you see is that they're looking into it, like the threshold, and then all of a sudden, what? I'm in there.
Jeez, like you realize Porcupine hung himself after he went into the room.
And also, there's clearly nothing visibly special about the room.
No.
Right.
No more than the rest of the zone.
Right.
Like, I mean, it is weird that there are fish swimming in a room in the floor, but like that's just normal zone stuff.
Yeah, it's unclear where the rain is coming from. Like they're underground.
Yeah. But it is so beautiful. That's the thing. It's like you can't be too despairing because
that's what I was taking pictures of. That's what that's exactly where I pulled out my camera and I was like, I have to take a picture of it. Yeah, there is beauty in the disappointment. It's weird. It's very weird.
And then there's the dog, you know, and even the wife seems to recognize that, well, a dog came out of this. That's good. And you seem to like dogs.
And that's why I don't want to believe that the dog represents doubt, because that seems like a bad thing. Like the dog feels like a guide that like is pulling them out, almost like you don't need this. What you need is to come back, like live your life, you know,
live with your family. You know,
he's been ignoring his family. Like it's not nice.
They are unbelievably supportive of him. Under the circumstances.
It's like a pastor's wife, you know?
Yeah. She comes to pick him up at the bar. They take home the dog. Like you said, the writer already has 5 dogs. Professor probably doesn't think it's rational to have a dog.
Certainly not a pit bull.
And then the dog follows them home. It's a beautiful scene, and it's in color. It's one of the few in-color shots that, or if not the only in-color shot that's not in the zone. And that's a very hopeful scene of them walking back with the dog and her. You think she's walking at first.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like it's shot really well to make you think, oh, monkey can walk after all. But then no, she's on the shoulders of Stalker.
Yeah.
But it's nice that he's even doing that. It's a nice dad thing to do, you know?
Exactly. And she also has this look about her I can't describe, like a sort of like dignity and control that she has that like neither of her parents seem to have. They both have desperation in their face. Yeah. You know, a very different kind of desperation, but they both throw themselves on the floor.
Yes.
You know, like a lot.
A lot. She's young, you know. It's you get harder as you get older. And she still has a little bit of that softness, I guess. She's so inscrutable, and it's you know,
she's like has a green head wrap.
Yeah. Like a
It's-
babushka kind of.
Yeah. I like clearly like he loves his saturated colors. Like I think that having that scene in color I don't know why. Like it seems like there wasn't when he did that. I was like, well, there's no rules then to the color. Like, but then I was like, maybe the daughter just represents the zone. Like the daughter is like.
Yeah, because actually, even though Stalker will then lie on the floor and, complain about the fact that everybody's too cynical and nobody believes,
Nobody believes. He's so whiny.
Yeah, but it's still kind of hopeful. Like the wife is now being fully supportive, and she gives a speech to the camera about how everyone told her not to marry him, but she's never regretted it for a second.
That threw me for like a loop. Like in a great movie, my one nit to pick is her breaking that fourth wall to give us this speech about her husband just seemed out of nowhere.
Yeah, it is out of, in a movie that has a lot of strange things and a lot of people looking at the camera, it seems more out of place than some of the other things. Because it's also like telling you stuff. It's like, it's addressing us. Like it says, you've probably, like, who's she talking to?
Yeah, I know.
You've probably
She's talking
guessed
to us, right?
She's talking to us. You might make fun of this guy, but this is our window into a life that actually has meaning. As crazy and like foolish as he is, and comical, it's this or just sepia dreariness.
Yeah, and she says, "Look, it's brought us a lot of sorrow, but without sorrow, there wouldn't be happiness." Which is a very Russian.
Yes.
Like sentiment, like the negativity is necessary.
Yeah.
By the way, I have a clear note in my notes that when they cut to Monkey in the last scene, it's back to color.
So yeah, let's talk about that. The dog's there, drink some milk. I hope they get it some actual dog food.
I know. I was like, is he a cat?
It's not a cat.
It's not a cat.
The dog needs food. It's a great dog. It was Stalker. It led him out of the zone. So, but
it looks like, okay, so it cuts to Monkey. It looks like she's reading. I didn't know if it was a Bible or not, but then she's saying a poem. Like a voiceover of a poem because she's not. She has her head down on a table, and there are 3 glasses on the table, and she appears to be moving one glass, then the other, and then finally a third, and knocks it off the table.
But it doesn't shatter. It just kind of. Yeah. And also at a certain point during this, the dog kind of whimpers.
The dog is whining. Yeah.
And she looks at the dog, and the dog shuts the fuck up. But
this is where I thought that like the dog was. Yeah.
Either she was malevolent, or the dog was,
or the dog is just feeling that there is this zone
something
power
going
to
on.
her. Yeah,
like
the dog is from the zone. The dog knows when some zone shit is happening.
The clear implication is she's moving the glasses with her mind, but there's enough, especially with the opening scene where a glass also moves, and like we said earlier, you could imagine that she knows this house so well and the train rhythms so well that she knows how these glasses are going to go, and she's just watching them because that's what you do to pass the time when you literally have nothing to do and you live in like an abandoned chemical factory town.
It's like Pittsburgh.
Yeah, exactly. Like probably there are little girls that watch glasses kind of move inexplicably, but that said, they move in sequence.
Yeah, and the train is not close yet. But
that was true in the opening shot too.
Yeah, but you heard more of a rumble in the opening shot.
Yeah, maybe. And
it's a very odd ending. I texted you right afterwards. I was like, she has mutant powers. Like she's an X-Man.
Like the natural ending of that movie is the shot of them sitting on the threshold of the zone, and him throwing parts of the bomb into the zone,
or maybe the shot of them at the bar with the mysterious bartender, like he's out of The Shining.
Yes, right. Yeah. But instead you have a fairly long like coda. And then to end with this, it's like, I think it's like Tarkovsky, because she also puts her head on the table, very, like everybody's kind of drowsy and, putting their heads down. It's almost like Tarkovsky is saying, like, what do you make of this? You who have been so skeptical, put this into your triangle, A prime, B prime. But he's also giving you the ability to explain it away. But I like, it's almost like if you do that, then like I can't do anything for you. I don't know. So
yeah, like I feel like he wanted to give us the gift of mystery. Still, he was giving us some hope.
Is it hope? Like, because she doesn't seem hopeful. I don't know. Like, I guess it's hope.
There is like the Starchild interpretation that you were alluding to earlier, which is like she might be representing sort of like the next step in like humanity. This is in some like unmentioned future time.
But it's one thing to have that when it is a baby that is looking over the earth from space. It's another thing in the dingiest, shittiest apartment for a girl to have her head on the table. Like, that doesn't seem like this is the next stage of evolution. But at the same time, like, I think it is Tarkovsky saying, yes, maybe it is. Like, there is hope in mystery. And this mystery is, this is all we have.
I'll admit, it's confusing, man. It's very confusing. Yeah.
I have nothing on it.
No, it was like all I can say is that it didn't harm my understanding of the movie. It like it felt cool. It felt interesting. It felt like there was something to the zone. Like I don't want to describe it in a way that it's like sounds like it's like a stupid like out of nowhere ending. It is out of nowhere, but it's. I felt like he was giving us something at the end. Like that's all I can say is the emotion. Yeah, that like it's this little girl who is in the shittiest of shitty situations seems to have something special, like, and maybe some connection to what we have maybe mocked her father for believing, throughout this movie. And he is honestly mockable, but like she has a real connection, maybe the one that he wants, but he can't have.
I love your thing where she sent the dog to kind of get him back. I think that's great. And, maybe that's why she doesn't like when the wife at the beginning is trying to stop him from going in,
Yeah.
I mean, but like you can try to do that, but it's not like it's the most inscrutable of endings. Yeah. Like even compared to all the, cryptic things that happen in the rest of the movie, this is like, whoa, this is a different level of, I don't understand.
He stepped it up. He stepped it up at the end.
It's like you're the professor at that point. I don't understand anything anymore.
Right.
Then. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, I like that. But he's giving us the feeling that the professor had.
Professor.
Professor. You have a feeling.
Oh, man. All right.
My clock says 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Is that right? All right? Well, I got a chance to talk about this movie for a long time with you, and so I
feel like we've walked into the zone and come back out.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can move glasses.
Yeah, and I have a little black dog in my house too. So.
Oh. All right. Join us next time on Very Bad Wizard, the post-Stalker.
Nothing will ever be the same.
I want to congratulate us for getting through this whole episode without saying the word liminal.
I said it once.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did. When I was describing the bar. The bar, I couldn't help it. Like it does feel like the most liminal of liminal shots.
Yes, absolutely. And the zone itself is liminal. Everything is liminal.
Everything is liminal.
Liminal, everything is liminal. Join us next time on Very Bad Wizard.
The Great Oz has spoken. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
man. Good man.
They think deep thoughts, and with no more brains than you have. Pay no attention to that man. Anybody can have a brain.
You're a very bad man.
I'm a very good man. Just a very bad wizard.